Debra Fileta is a licensed professional counselor and popular blogger. She specializes in dating and marriage issues. Her blog, TrueLoveDates.com, reaches millions of readers each year. After years of counseling others, as well as dealing with her own marriage, Debra understands that relationships can be the hardest and greatest thing we'll ever work on. In her book, Choosing Marriage, Debra shares her 8 significant choices that will equip you to take your marriage from average to exceptional.
Well, Debra Fileta joins us now. Great to have you on the Interactive Show.
It's good to be here.
Is the culture that we live in today making it more difficult to have a really wonderful marriage than it might have been in years gone by?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors at play when it comes to marriage today. Singles have seen the things that their families have done, their parents, they've learned the good things and the bad things. We're also putting an emphasis on career, and so culture kind of makes it a little bit harder for singles to commit to marriage these days.
Yeah. And it seems like people are getting married later, that they're traveling and doing a lot of the things, building their businesses, whatever, you know, before making that commitment. Your book is called Choosing Marriage.
Right.
Tell me about the choice factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Choosing Marriage is a very deliberate title because I wanted to make sure that I was addressing married people as well as singles. And when you read the title, Choosing Marriage, I think as married people, we can understand, okay, yes, we have to choose our marriage every single day. But really for singles who are reading this book, I want them to know that this book is for them too, because just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're going to be good at marriage. And you've got to understand that a good marriage requires us to make certain choices. And there are choices you can make today, even as a single person, that will impact your future marriage and help you to have a healthy, strong relationship.
Do you think some people long to be married? Maybe not some people, maybe it's a lot more than that, without really understanding what it takes to be happily married?
Absolutely. I took a survey of 1,000 singles and 1,000 married people, and I asked them, do you think that you understand the sacrifice required in marriage? Most singles said, yeah, I think I understand the sacrifice. You know, we all hear that marriage requires sacrifice.
Can't travel as much anymore.
Right, you know. And then when I surveyed the married people, they actually said, 95% of them said that they thought they understood what sacrifice meant. I mean, we all think we understand what sacrifice means, but when we're really there in the process, day in, day out, having to put someone else before us, having to choose we over me, I think that sacrifice takes on a whole new meaning.
Is that kind of the key takeaway nugget, putting we over me? Because self-sacrifice is at the center of every relationship.
Absolutely. And for me, the subtitle of this book was really important, why it has to start with we is greater than me. We live in a culture today where it's all about me, 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 me. I mean, and when you're single as well, all you think about is yourself. When you do things when you want to do them, how you want to do them, in the way that you want to do them. And all of a sudden you're faced with somebody else and you've got to take them into consideration. But this isn't about me versus you. This is about choosing we over me, because when you put it you versus me, that can cause a lot of tension in a marriage, and that's not how God intended it. We've got to see the bigger picture and why the we matters.
You know, selflessness is key. Passivity, though, is not selflessness.
Yes.
And passivity can be a real destructive thing in a marriage, even though it's quiet.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really important factor. And I start this book by explaining, when we're talking about the first choice, which is moving from selfishness to holiness, we are not talking about being a doormat. We are not talking about laying down your needs and laying down your emotions and always saying yes and never expressing what you need. That's a recipe for an unhealthy marriage. So really, this isn't about passivity. And I think there's a lot of Christians out there who are practicing a passive lifestyle, who hold things in, and they think they're being selfless, but it's actually doing harm to their marriage. So learning what it means to understand our emotions, understand our needs, express them in a healthy way, and then identify them in our partner and learn to meet their needs in a healthy way as well.
So what do you suggest when someone's in a relationship where one person sees the need in the marriage and wants to make some adjustments and corrections, and the other person just says, no, is passive.
Right.
No problem. Not changing, not doing this. This is your problem. What do you do?
It's always tricky, and there's so many marriages out there that are like that. And I think our tendency is to look at our spouse and say, you've got to change this, you've got to change this, you've got to change this, or this isn't working. But really, for effective counseling, for effective psychology to take place, what we need to do is focus on ourselves and focus on our personal health, focus on the choices we're making, the boundaries we're setting, the healing we need from our past, our identity, and clinging to our identity in Christ. And the healthier we become as individuals, the healthier our marriage will also be.
One of the things you suggest in doing to invest in your marriage is to have weekly couch talks, couch sessions. What does that look like?
Well, if you think about it, couples don't talk that much.
Especially after children.
In my survey of 1,000 married people, you will not believe this, but they said that they spoke to each other less than 30 minutes a week of quality conversation. Wow. Less than 30 minutes. And I'm not talking about the conversation of, honey, will you pick up milk? But more significant choices, more significant emotions and feelings and opinions and ideas, talking about what God is doing in your life and exchanging that information. If you don't put it on the schedule, it's not going to happen. So I really advocate for couples to take that time to interact with each other in a meaningful way.
What should singles be looking for in a future spouse? Because I know so many people who want to be married, who want to find Mr. or Miss Right.
Right.
But how do they do that? What do they look for?
I'll tell you what, human beings are magnetic, and we attract people on our level of health. And if you're a single who finds yourself drawn to the wrong kind of people and the wrong kind of relationships, I say take a couple steps back and ask yourself, why am I attracting these type of people? Why am I allowing these type of people into my life? When you focus on getting yourself emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually healthy, you will start attracting the right kind of people and recognizing the wrong ones so much faster. It saves you so much heartache when you start with yourself, because you're 50% of the equation of a healthy relationship.
So I hear you saying that that's the place to begin, whether you're a single wanting to find that right person or whether you're in a marriage relationship and wanting to make it better.
Absolutely. We're only in control of this piece of the puzzle, you know?
I understand. Much as we'd like to, we can't change the other person. Well, I want you to know Debra's book is called Choosing Marriage, Why It Has to Start with We Before Me, and it's available now wherever books are sold. Thank you so much. Great message, great book.
Thank you so much for having me.